This is the Trimui Smart Pro, a low-cost Linux-based emulator that can run and play thousands of games. Really, thousands of games. I actually counted them, and there are 15,212 games to be specific, and it can emulate 56 different gaming consoles. We're going to talk about the build, the cost, features, and a few other things. Stick around. Before we start, I have to quickly point out that this is the Mech DIY Cross-Mix OS version of the Trimui Smart Pro. Mech DIY is basically a company that takes the most popular handheld devices and customizes software for them for ease of use and ships them with a quality SD card that contains over 12,000 games and 50 consoles or emulators. If you buy this for an additional $30, you skip the hassle of downloading and customizing the software, and it's ready to go out of the box. They ship worldwide for free, and you can even add few accessories for a few extra bucks if you want to. You will find the link in the description. For around $100, it can certainly be categorized as an affordable gaming console. But don't be fooled thinking that the low price means low specs. This is a fantastic little handheld emulator. The Trimui Smart Pro features a 4.96 inches 720 by 1280 IPS display, a 1.8 GHz CPU, and a 660 MHz GPU, 8 GB of internal storage with the ability to expand up to 256 GB with a microSD card. It has both Bluetooth and Wi-Fi, and they can be used to connect to the internet or your AirPods or Bluetooth speaker. It has its own set of dual front-facing speakers, headphone jack, and even a microphone. And it has a 5,000 mAh battery that can last for 5 hours of continuous gameplay. Besides the D-pad, control buttons, and shoulder buttons, you also have two joysticks with controllable RGB light circles around them that can be turned off in the settings if you're not feeling edgy. On the left side, you have the menu key, and the select and start keys are on the right side. On the top, you have the volume rocker, power button, and a host USB-C that can be used to connect to an external storage. On the bottom, you have the SD card slot, 3.5mm headphone jack, a USB-C port to charge, and a function button that can be used to overclock the CPU for better performance when switched to the right position. The build quality is fantastic. It's made out of smooth, sleek plastic with nice round corners, no rough or sharp edges, and the buttons are clicky and satisfying. The screen is excellent with great brightness, and the viewing angles are great, making it easy for others to watch your gameplay. The front-facing speakers are the loudest out of any console that I have reviewed before, and also the best. They are rated at 1 watt each. They sound fantastic for their size with no distortions or peaking sounds. The console feels great in the hand with consistent weight distribution, and it's comfortable to hold. The R2 and L2 buttons are a little bit close for my liking. Perhaps it's because I'm used to the bigger, old-school controllers from the past. Very satisfying experience, especially with the screen, and it's a big jump from previous consoles. Honestly speaking, this device does not feel like a $100 device. In fact, it feels like it's worth a lot more. And I think I talked about this in the past. I think the reason why they're able to sell it at such a low cost is because they don't use expensive software. They're mostly Linux-based software, which means the cost of customizing an already existing software is a lot cheaper than building one from scratch. The Linux-based Cross-Mix OS is great. It works exactly as intended and is very easy to navigate even for the first time. It has more options than I'm used to, like the ability to connect to the internet, connecting to a Bluetooth headset or speaker, and can also play movie files from external hard drives. Everything is organized and ready to go. Most of the games I played as a child are loaded. In fact, games from childhood that I forgot about are also there. It has this nice relaxing music playing in the background whenever you're navigating through the OS, and a very nice clicking sound every time you press a button. And yes, they can be turned off if you're not a fan. In fact, you can do a whole host of things like turn off the RGB on the joystick, change brightness, increase contrast, and decrease saturation, and so on. If you spend enough time in the settings, which was fun to go through, you can customize and optimize to your liking. Now, this version contains 15,212 games spread over 56 different consoles. For an old school gamer, this stuff is just insane. I don't think anyone back then had enough storage space or a big enough house to store 15,000 games and 56 consoles. Anyhow, the most notable thing about these games is they almost always work. I have not come across any game that didn't work yet. And I say almost always because I can't go through all 15,000 of them to check. If you can't find your game, you can easily download it from any of the websites that offer them for free. Simply eject the SD card, insert it into your PC, find out what extension most games on that particular consoles are, and type it in a search engine to download. For example, I wanted to play Pepsi Man and it was not on my console. It took me less than 5 minutes to have it up and running. Even if you're not a tech guru, it shouldn't be difficult to figure out. I talked about how to download games step by step in a video I posted earlier about a different console. You can click on the card here and use the chapter on the timeline to get to it. This is another gem from China. Over the past few days, I've had a ton of fun messing around with it, mainly because it had a stable software, very little crashes, if any at all, the ability to save games, the Bluetooth connectivity to connect to a headset and play in privacy, and a sleep button option to save battery and can quickly get back in the game if I'm interrupted by something. And from all the handheld I reviewed in the past, this has the biggest screen. The only complaint that I had was that the R2 and L2 buttons were small for my hands. Definitely better than the Anbernic and the R36S, but not a complete fit just yet. I'm starting to think maybe the problem is in my hands and I have oversized fingers. Regardless, that didn't take away from the experience, and I still think it's one of the best bang for buck you can get in the handheld retro gaming consoles. I will leave a link in the description if you want to pick up one for yourself. That's the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one.